For those who think the Great Reset is not going to control every aspect of your life, let me give you a couple of things. They are now taking the next step to shape global, regional, and industry agendas, end quote, with a new digital ID system. Under the framework, the WEF proposes collecting data from many aspects of people's everyday lives, that's a quote, through their devices, telecommunication networks, and third-party service providers. The WEF suggests that this data collection dragnet would allow a digital ID. Now listen to this, it's very narrow. It would allow a digital ID to scoop up data on people's online behavior, purchase history, network usage, credit history, biometrics, names, national identity numbers, and medical history. Plus your travel history, social accounts, e-government accounts, bank accounts, energy uses, health stats, education, and I love this one, and more. What's left? Once the digital ID has access to this huge, highly personal set of data, the WEF proposes using it to decide whether users are allowed to, quote, own and use devices, quote, open bank accounts, quote, carry out online financial transactions, quote, conduct business transaction, quote, access insurance and treatment, book trips, still quoting, go through border control between countries or regions, still quoting, access third-party services that rely on social media logins, file taxes, vote, collect benefits, end quote. The WEF also praises the way vaccine passports have allowed governments to harvest data from their populations, I'm quoting, without notice or consent. Oh, I love that when our government does that, don't you? And governments and private corporations increasingly embracing digital IDs. Some governments are also pushing a similar notion, social credit style apps that monitor citizens' behavior and reward them for engaging in state-approved actions. Okay, all right. This is crazy. This will never happen. It is happening.
Brakata Yahweh Bashimi Al-Shah, Kahala Yahweh Bashimi Al-Shah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh Bashimi Al-Shah, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me his truth, and much respect to the Akim of the Laban and his work, and also to the believers scattered across the four corners of the earth, the hopeful elect at the USA, Shalom. So yeah, with everything that we're seeing right now, if you're in the right spirit, then you should be rejoicing as the Lord is bringing forward, his word, his agenda that he ordained from the beginning, pursuant to Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying his counsel will stand and he will do all his pleasure. All right. So one thing that we got to keep in mind, though, as we see, this world push forward to this newly created beast system, all right, this digital system, is that, we can't have any attachments within this world because, having attachments, that's like Esau having leverage on you, all right? So we're in a time of really spiritually departing from this place to numb myself up from the things that are going to happen within the future, man. And that's what this truth does. It separates you from this current system, all right? When you look at Jake, the 2/3 mind state of Jake, they all caught up in the system because they want this place to continue. And so they have no hope, but we, on the other hand, we have something more to look forward to. All right. So Micah 2:10 says, arise ye and depart. Yeah, that doesn't mean get on a plane and shoot out to Africa or Israel somewhere, but rather depart spiritually. right? Get away from this place, okay? For this is not your rest, right? Our rest will be in the kingdom. But before that kingdom comes and all hell has to break loose, the chip has to be implemented. World War III has to take off. And then ultimately, Yahushua has to return in the midst of all hell breaking loose. So it says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with the sword of destruction. So when you are attached to this place, then ultimately you will fold to it, because those attachments that you see now are going to be attached to that digital chip. All right, your money, your medical records, your social credit system, everything that you enjoy in doing within this system is going to be attached to it. All right, social media, everything, man, your job, everything will be attached to that system. And if you're not cooperating with that system, all right, they're going to turn your chip off, right? You're not going to be able to function in that society. And ultimately, you will be killed for not cooperating. So what we're seeing right now, man, is the Lord pretty much showing you, this is where this place is headed. Esau wants a world that's 100% geared towards Satanism, in complete opposition of Yahweh Shem Shai, a world in which you will not be able to have a natural baby. You won't be able to, have intercourse with a woman. It won't be a man and woman getting together. That will be done away with. You'll have an artificial womb. Okay, you'll have artificial conversations. You see the metaverse. Okay, everything will be artificial. And that's not a way of living, man. That's complete Satanism. You won't be able to speak out against the the alphabet community. And you see that now, but in that time when they got everything implemented, then they'll be able to lay the law down and put you to death for not bowing down to that system. So we have no rest here, man. All right. So this article from reclaimthenet.org, it says World Economic Forum pushes digital ID system that will determine access to services. Okay. And this dude right here made a statement back in 2016 that he knows for a fact. It's an ugly ass nigga. He knows for a fact by 2025 or 10 years from that point, he said that everyone will be chipped. And we see how that is setting up. All right. You got these, wars and rumors of wars that are setting up. And you see the sanctions being thrown out by America, okay, geared towards Russia. And there's threat of Russia with the cyber attacks, and that they're going to be targeting America and also these NATO and EU nations. And it's all, controlled by these elites. But this is what they're going to use to bring down this current beast system and to issue in a new one called the Great Reset, or the NWO. And your assets, everything would be compromised, and you won't be able to do anything or get anything back unless you take that charagma, right? So let's read some of this real quick. It says that WEF suggests that this data collection dragnet, matter of fact, let's start right here. Under this framework, the WEF proposes collecting data from the many aspects of people's everyday lives. Now you see why, now you see what, the social media platforms were for. It was for collecting data for this specific time, so they can know you and pretty much gauge your moves, your actions, the things you like, what you don't like. They got a digital profile of you. So it says the WEF proposes collecting data from many aspects of people's everyday lives through their devices, telecommunications networks, and third-party service providers. The WEF suggests that this data collection dragnet would allow a digital ID to scoop up data on people's online behavior and purchase history, network usage, credit history, biometrics, names, national identity numbers, medical history, travel history, social accounts, e-government accounts, bank accounts, energy usage, health stats, education, and more. And they got all of that about you on your digital profile. So once the digital ID has access to this huge, highly personal data set, the WEF proposes using it to decide whether users are allowed to own and use devices, open bank accounts, carry out online financial transactions, conduct business transactions, access insurance treatment, book trips. It says go through border control between countries and regions, access third-party services that rely on social media logins, file taxes, vote, collect benefits, and more. So, I mean, when you understand that all this stuff that you now have the freedom and the luxury of, going out and doing, all this stuff is going to be halted. Okay? It's going to be pretty much put upon this charagma, this chip, is going to pay the way for you to participate within these different things in life that you used to have free access to a sort. Okay? And so another thing about this chip, let's see. It says the WEF goes on to suggest that digital IDs will allow for the selection of preferences and the making of certain choices in advance, and ultimately pave the way for automated decision making. All right, it's going to pave the way for automated decision making, showing that this thing is going to be attached, to your body, man. It says where a trusted digital assistant automates permissions for people and effectively manages their data across different services to overcome the limitations of notice and consent. So basically what they're saying is that this digital ID is going to make decisions for you. Okay? It's going to be able to predict, what you want to do ahead of time based off of your information. Okay? So this devil wants to be all knowing. He wants to know your future moves. Like he wants to be the Most High, man. All right. So I mean, when you really go into the nitty gritty of what Esau wants to do, it's like fuck it at that point. There's no hard task to depart from this place, seeing where it's headed. Okay, so Proverbs 12 and verse 11, it says, and they, speaking about the elect, overcame him, that him being Esau. All right, Esau in general. It says, by the blood of the Lamb, Yahushua, and by the word of the testimony, and they love not their lives unto death. So the elect are not going to love their lives even unto death, understanding where this system is headed. We have no continuing city here. Okay? So right now, you should be in a mind of prepared to lose it all. All right? Let's get this real quick. Matthew 16 and 25. It said, for whoso will save his life shall lose it. So if you're trying to save your life within this system, by taking this charagma, then you're going to lose it. So it says, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So if you cast off this life, you count as dung, and you refuse to take the charagma, whether you get killed for it or not, then ultimately you will save your life because you will have part in the first resurrection in that kingdom that will never fall. Okay? So we don't want to fall into the category of, let's see. Yeah, Revelation 14 and verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, all right, in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine or the wrath of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, so this is the destruction of America. Now, if we bend and take that chip, then, we're going to suffer that fate, and we don't want that, man. You're going to be tormented in those flames as the holy angels and Yahweh Shai, watch you, man. That's horrendous, man. So Romans 11 and 4, it said, but what said the answer of the Most High, Yahweh Bashmal Shai, to him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who will not bow the knee to the image of Baal. All right? Who will not bow to this man's image and take his mark. Pursuant to, when you go to Revelation 13, and verse 15, it says, and he, Esau, had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that being the ancient Roman Empire, back in the form of America. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you're not going to fall down and take that mark and worship this beast, then they have death slated for you. All right, and we who have been gathered within this truth, we're already on the death list. There's no rehabilitation for us, so they're going to try and kill us. So, if it comes down to us having to take this mark, all right, just remember that there are men, and I perceive to be women also, who had their heads taken off, and they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai. All right, well, the men are going to reign with Yahweh Shai. Okay, so Revelation 24, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai. Okay, for the and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, and neither his image, and neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. So if you ever get put into a situation where you might get your head chopped off, understand this scripture right here, that there are men who got their heads chopped off for the word of Yahweh Shai, because they hated their lives unto death. But ultimately, it's written that the elect will reign with Yahweh Shai for the first 1,000-year period of time. All right, setting this earth back in order, putting these nations back into subjection. So, the way that this place is going, we have no continuing city here, and we have to depart. All right, everything that is contrary unto the spirit of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, family and all. All right, it's all going to be compromised for the truth. So that's pretty much it, man. All right, Lord willing, you edify until next time I say, Shalom.